everyone. Hi, campus in your heart campers. This is Jeff Harry, Rediscover Your Play. I have my colleague Lauren Yee here. And then we have our friend Aaron Morse, who is going to be volunteering as part of this Your Future is Where Your Fun Is workshop. We just want to make sure that you, for this workshop, have a piece of paper and a pen. All right? All right, so William, if you can just focus on me for a sec. So let me just give you an overview of what we're going to actually be diving into. So the workshop's called Your Future is Where Your Fun Is. And we really are creating this because we want to have you, just for the moment, be able to let go of the results, let go of the results of 2020, let go of the results of whatever it is that you wanted, and dive more into the process, as our argument is that the process is more important than the result. We're also going to be exploring how happiness leads to productivity and more energy. And then we'll be diving into the science of flow, what it means to be in flow, and how that ties in with play. And then we're going to attempt to figure out your play values. We're going to identify your play values. And then finally, after we identify your play values, we're going to figure out some play action that you will walk away with where you can get into flow. All right. So we're going to throw it over to Lauren. Lauren?
All right. So to get us going here, the reason this kind of came up for us was because we realized that so much of how we connect with people feels very end result versus process. How was the game? We won. What are you going to major in? Oh, I'm going to major in poli-sci. What do you want to be when you grow up? When I was little, I wanted to be an architect, and that stayed with me for a long time. I went to school for that, studied, built my resume, and eventually made it to be a lead design assistant and project manager for a well-known designer and general contractor in Los Angeles. It's pretty much what you would think you'd want to be doing, right? Like, that's the dream. However, it was the worst job I've ever had. It was terrible. So many things weren't what I thought I was going to be doing. Like, I didn't get to be as creative or as problem solving. I felt like I was just this cog in the middle of everything. There were so many signs, and I had friends and family constantly being like, I feel like you're not happy. Maybe you should quit. But I couldn't let it go. I wanted to prove myself. This is what I've worked for. And I stayed in that job for 2 years. It just wasn't fun, and I eventually quit and I left. You know what is fun, though? Watching kids experience something for the first time, or just do something for the heck of it. They're enjoying the process, being present, like loving the heck out of eating this ice cream for the first time, or spinning as fast as they can in their yard just to see who can spin the fastest and who falls down first. There's just so much joy. And when I've seen stuff like that, I'm sure many of you have seen this too with friends, family, whoever. Man, I wish I could be that happy or that excited about anything. When I was little, I loved this game called Sardines. If you don't know what it is, it's kind of like a reverse hide and seek, where there's one hider and multiple seekers. And as seekers find the hider, they have to hide with them until the last seeker finds everybody. So you're like sardines. When I really thought about it, or if I'm sitting down and thinking about it and unpacking that, I think that why I liked it was because you get to create kind of a community. It's not necessarily a team, because it doesn't start out as a team. You kind of build the community as people find you, and you're all in this together, and teamwork of not getting found. You get to be creative because you can't hide in the same place twice. You got to find better places to hide. And you have to problem solve. Like, when some silly person decides to hide behind a very skinny tree, you got to figure out how to hide with them so you don't get found. Those are the things that I love so much about that play. And I don't know that what I was doing was giving me that. Because in the real world, in adulthood, you do have to figure out how to have a job and pay for things. I found another job after I left what I thought was the dream job. And I found a way or a position to play with Lego and teach kids for a living. I got to do so many more things that I was missing. I stayed with that job a long time because I enjoyed it. Several years, in fact, actually. I often would get to social gatherings and family and friends would say things like, oh, are you still doing that Lego job? Kind of like a throwaway, like, when are you doing something real? But inevitably, I was always finding myself saying similar things of, yeah, I never thought I'd be here, but it's really rewarding. And I love the people that I work with, and I just really like it. So I keep doing it. And I would say that over and over and over. And it didn't sink in that was what was bringing me joy, just doing what I kept doing, what I liked. So what we're trying to do here is we want to encourage people to maybe follow your curiosity. It's not always about that end result where you think you're trying to go, being open to other possibilities and thinking about things in a different perspective. And we're going to go through some science and activities like Jeff said today.
So, William, if you can show me for a moment. So, very similar in the sense of we got what we wanted, we got the dream, and the dream was extremely disappointing. And then we just pursued things that we found to be really fun. And we noticed that it was a lot of the same values that we had in our play as kids that tied in with what we are doing now in life. So we were like, oh, well, let's create this workshop so that we can have other people identify their play values. And you felt it when you've actually played, because when you travel, you have that play-oriented mindset. You're more willing to say yes to everything and hop on a motorcycle and go off into the wilderness and go to a random island, and all of a sudden you have the best day of your life. You know, you're willing to do that when you're in this adventure space. But during these uncertain times, we're usually very careful. And what we're saying is there still is a playground that we can play in. So why not we dive into that playground? So Lauren, can you walk us through the first activity?
Yeah, we're actually going to do this all together. And if you're doing this with us at your home or wherever you're at, feel free to join along or pause if you need to, if you need more time for thinking. But we're going to do this with Erin today, kind of as our example, and you could be doing this on your own or pause and do it with friends and family and whoever else as well. So first activity, just like I did trying to think about, I came up with sardines. We want you, Erin, to close your eyes or stare off into the distance and kind of just reflect and think what your like gut feeling, like what was something that you really loved to play as a kid. It could be something you like loved or just did a lot, which in theory you probably liked. Or for some reason, like you can't think of something from childhood, maybe even something more later on into life that you just had a lot of fun doing, so much fun. And then once you think you have it, let us know what it is.
Okay. I know it's kind of quick. I think I have it because it kind of came to me as you were speaking. I mean, the first thing, I thought of a few things, but the first thing that came to mind was the board game Sorry. I don't know if you guys remember that board game, but I loved playing the game Sorry as a kid. I wore that thing out.
Board games are great. Sorry is a good one.
Yeah.
So now, really trying to, we're going to ask you a harder question now. So really focusing on Sorry. Envision it. You're playing it.
Okay.
Try to think about what it is about this. And I'm going to sort of talk through some things so you can think about it and half ignore me if you need to. But I'm trying to guide you through trying to figure out what the foundations of that kind of play were that drew you to it. Like, why did you like it? I mean, there's a lot of board games. So why Sorry? It could be, how you played. Are there certain rules that you really liked? Was there like an environmental change when you decided to play that thing? If for other people at home, if it's not a board game, like maybe you chose something like a sport. Well, which sport? Be specific. And was it team versus solo? Like, what are the things that made you like that thing so much? And I know there's a lot, so we can also help you sort of process it if you're not sure. Like, name some things and we can try and hone it in for you too.
Yeah, like when you said, teams versus solo, that clicked with me. Usually it was me and one other person, like another parent. So it would be an opportunity for me to have that one-on-one connection with an important adult in my life. I was usually playing it with like my mom or my dad. So I think that was something that was really attractive to me, was that connecting piece with someone else, with another person. Because I can't really remember playing it with like big groups of people. So I think it was like more of a one-on-one thing. Other things, I liked that it was the type of game. It wasn't like Life or Monopoly that could go on and on and on. You know what I mean? Like there was like a containment to it. So I think I liked that too. Like I knew that we would have like our start, middle, and finish, and I could kind of expect this certain containment. But speaking of like I also loved within the game the unexpected aspect. That always got me really excited. You know, you think you're going to like win, or maybe you think you're losing, and then you get the sorry card and you get to sorry somebody, and then suddenly they're back to start and you're like, ooh, I'm in their spot, and now I thought I was losing a second ago and now I'm winning. So the unexpected aspect, yet at the same time the expected, the contained aspect, and then that connection.
So just to recap, the three ones that I got were connection, containment, and it being unexpected, right?
Yes. Too bad we can't think of another C word. They could be all
right.
So connection. Yeah. Yes. Connection, containment, and unexpected. Yeah.
And just taking a moment to reflect on, those play values. Well, first off, when was the last time you thought about that game? Just playing that game?
I mean, it's been a long time. I don't know. A while. I do own it, but like somewhere in my dusty old garage, but so yes.
And then looking at connection, containment, and it being unexpected, if those are the play values that we're going to explore, looking at those, do you see yourself in a different perspective? Have you learned or relearned something just by noticing those?
Well, yeah, I mean, in a way it's kind of confirming, or it's interesting. It like affirms things that people have said about me or I've thought too. It's like, I like control, but I also like to be surprised. So there are those aspects. Yeah, I'm like, well, I'm so dualistic, but yeah, those things. And then, the other thing that I haven't really thought of in a long time is that I do love like meaningful connection, like I mean, a party's always fun, but like small group or like one-on-one opportunities to have a connection, or I think
like a real connect, not just like talking, but like connecting.
Yeah.
Right. Like attunement. And then the last question regarding play values is like, just thinking about them, when was the last time you felt like you embodied these values, either one or multiple of them, like in like the past like week?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'd say maybe the unexpected probably within the last week. Yeah. So I don't know about all three altogether, but yes.
And it can also be 1, 2, or 3, like any mixture of these things that seem meaningful to you. But yes.
Yeah. And also for everyone watching at home, like this would be the same process and the same questions that you would ask yourself as well. It's just, when was the last time I thought about this? Wait, of these play values, do I incorporate them on a regular basis? Or maybe I haven't really looked at these at all. And then really trying to explore how that might tie in with what you actually do now. So, William, if you could feature me for a moment here, I just wanted to share my screen and dive into some of the science behind this, just a little bit of the sciences. We don't have that much time, but let me show you this flow chart. And it's not one of the boring flow charts. It's an actual more interesting flow chart, if you can see it here. There it goes. So One thing that's really important about play is it's also synonymous with flow. And William, if you could feature me, because I believe right now you're featuring Lauren. And what we really want to make sure by exploring the play values is that you're actually finding ways to fall into flow. We see flow like a river, and it's like this river that's running downstream. And when you're really in flow, it's super easy. It's just like you don't have to push, you don't have to force anything. But when you're out of flow, as you can see right here in this chart, you can either get a lot of anxiety or you can get really bored. So an example of getting a lot of anxiety is when you take on a new job, you don't have a lot of skill, but the job has a huge amount of challenges. So you're having imposter syndrome, so you have a lot of anxiety. As you start to get more comfortable and start building skills, there's a possibility of you actually getting into the flow. The same thing with boredom is you could have a ton of skill when it comes to binge watching Netflix or mastering a job. But if the difficulty is not there, after a while you get super bored. So our idea is the more you're willing to explore your play values and fall into flow, you're actually able to open up your mind to seeing more opportunities in front of you. Instead of what most adults do, where they're fixated on just one result, being in flow allows you to see the entire field. It gives you like a 360-degree range of options. And that's really what we want you to embrace, especially during these uncertain COVID times, because we have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone a week from now. So why are we planning and instead challenging ourselves to actually fall into flow? How do we do that? We first choose to be present. Oh, okay, well, I'm present. Well, what does that actually mean? Well, to be present is to actually get quiet. Well, how do I get quiet? Well, you could meditate, or you could just sit there and be a little bit bored, and then listen to that quiet curiosity that pops up, that whisper, and then you follow that curiosity and you see where that takes you. So flow goes from being present to following that curiosity, and almost circles back, like almost in infinity emotion, and you can keep falling in and out of flow in a really smooth, comfortable way. So that's just some of the science behind that. All right. Now, can we bring back everyone for a moment? Because now we have to address something before we actually dive into exploring the next plaything that we want to create. So, William, if you can, here, let me stop sharing my screen. Oh, here we go. So Lauren and I realized this: in order for us to create the next amazing play opportunity and fall into flow, we have to let go of what 2020 was supposed to be. So just asking you, as well as Aaron and Lauren, how many of you believed that 2020 was going to be your year?
So much promise.
So many opportunities. In my case, I was gonna speak at South by Southwest. I was gonna travel all over the country. Oh, I was gonna potentially propose. I was gonna do all these things. And then this happened. And there's a part where I don't know if I allowed myself to actually mourn the stuff that didn't happen. So what we want to do right now is we want to take this opportunity, grab a piece of paper, and what we want you to do is we want you to take a moment, and if you need more than, a minute, you can pause this. And we want you to write down all of the things that you hoped 2020 was going to happen in 2020, that you planned on doing, that now you are currently mourning. Things that you wanted to do, but now are just not going to happen. So just take a moment and just write those down.
Man, time is also a blur, and part of me is like, what was supposed to happen? That's also okay. Take a minute to think and reflect and pause should you need.
And then Aaron, just give me a thumbs up when you got a list.
Okay.
All right. So are you comfortable with sharing some of the things?
Sure. Take my family to Disney World. I wrote land, but I meant world. We're going to go to the big one. And so, yeah, that's one of them. And also we had some ideas of upgrading this house, being able to, add on a bathroom and things like that. So, yeah.
And so we want you to take a moment and look at your list, like really look at it and just take it in because it's tough. It really sucks. So take a look at your list. Take a deep breath. And then this is what we're going to do, because this is part of our play thing, is we want you to now fold this into a paper airplane. Okay. And if you don't know
there's no right or wrong way.
There's no right or wrong. If you don't know how to fold it into it, just make it up.
In a while.
You're going to fold this paper with your 2020 hopes, and you're going to just fold it into a paper airplane, however you want to do it. And the reason why we're saying it's a paper airplane is because what we're going to do in a moment is we're going to let it go. But we're not going to let it go like it's never going to happen. We're just simply saying we're letting go of it right now because it's what we can't do right now. And we can pick it up in 2021 or pick it up later on, but we're just letting go of this so that we can move on to actually being present and following our curiosity for the next part of this. So once you have your paper airplane ready, all right.
Send it.
We want you to think of that, think of the things that you are mourning or you have to let go of. And as you're letting it go, just breathe out and let it release. We'll do it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
2020 just changed shape a little bit, and there's still 2020 left. So we can take hold of that and follow our curiosity in a way to make the most of what is now. So now that we've let things go for the moment, we want to grab onto some good, fun ideas for how we can play a little bit more. All right, Aaron, are we ready? What we're going to do in a minute, we are going to, what we want to do is we're going to get ideas for an idea piñata of ways that we can get you into flow. And this is what everyone can do at home as well. You're going to get ideas for how to get into flow, because when you get into flow, it opens up the connections in your brain, like Jeff had said, and it allows you to be more open to the thing that leads to the next thing that leads to the next thing, versus being like, I'm trying to get over there. It all just kind of happens in the river of flow. So idea piñata, what we're going to do is in a minute, Aaron, the exercise we're going to do with you, people can do at home, and you're going to remind us of what your play values are. And if you are at home too, you might be on your own. You can think of some for yourself, but we also encourage you to try and get outside perspective, because it might spark an idea that you never would have thought of. So you can do this solo, but we also really encourage you to get some outside input at some point. So you're going to remind us of your play values, the 2 or 3 things, maybe 4 things that everyone came up with. And then you're just going to take another piece of paper and you're going to scribble and write down everything that gets thrown at you by me and Jeff, because there is no negating. There are no bad ideas. Maybe I don't really know what I'm saying, but it means something to you. Okay. So we're going to just get this idea piñata full of idea candy, because who doesn't like candy? I mean, some people like, but anyway, we're going to do this. Do you have a paper and pen ready?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to do it until we fill your piñata, 5, 6, 7 things at least to get you going. Remind us one more time, what were your like foundation values, play values?
Okay. Unexpected, connection, containment.
Connection and containment. Okay.
Okay. Jeff, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, the very first thing that I think of just with unexpected and containment, it makes me think of like choose your own adventure, which could be a lot of things. Like not that you could make one or doing one. Like there were like young adult books back in the day. I don't know why they don't make adult ones, but like grown up adult version of choose your own adventure. Oh, there's also like Netflix shows or video movies that are choose your own adventure now. I have not done them, but I've heard of them.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Also, I think of connection, containment, and unexpected as you have your house. That is the container, right? The unexpected is doing pranks on your children, obviously fun ones, but you and your husband, knowing how playful both of you are, doing some pranks or fun surprises for your kids. Like, because you couldn't go to Disney World, you actually create a mini Disney World for them to walk into once, and then you could have them experience that. And then that would be like a memory for a lifetime.
Smaller scale and could be a lot of different things, but in terms of unexpected, maybe it's like learning new things. So if there's like a way to celebrate in this weird time, so there you could either like find weird holidays and like decorate something, or like a dry erase board, or maybe your dinner is inspired by some weird holiday, or finding a way to do something different. Like if anytime you have a certain ritual, like maybe like every time someone returns from the outside world, you welcome them back into your home with like some weird thing, but it has to be different, like a different song and dance or something like that each time. It's like a surprise, but it's not severely aggressive.
Another one I think of is, because you have these 2 kids, you could have a cooking competition where you all pick one dish, some ridiculous dish, by the way, like and then everyone makes a version of it, and then you have a contest. And you could even film it as well and share it with your family and friends.
Oh my gosh. Or what if it was like, if there's multiple family members, like you're the judge and you get to choose your favorite thing, and then the 2 or 3 other people have to make versions of that, and you get to like assess by like design and taste and presentation. But then you could rotate so someone else could choose next time or something.
Or another challenge is you could change the role. So if you always do a certain role and everyone knows you to do that role, if for one day, or even if it's just for 1 hour, now this other person that has never done that role before, whether that's cooking, cleaning, whatever the thing is doing it, just so that they can experience it, while the other person, and then everyone switches roles so they can have more empathy for each other.
Oh, nice.
Also, in a like connecting with someone in containment sort of way, we do this with kids, but not as much as adults, but you could do it with kids or a friend or family member or something, but almost like read like story time, but like reading a book or a short story to each other. You could even do weird voices if you want to, or just straight read whatever. And it could be picture book or like chapter book thing, but like being read to is kind of a nice connecting thing.
Yeah. And then the final one, we're almost out of time. There is an app, TikTok, and I know that you're an actress at heart, so you could dive into that app, because I know a lot of people are creating amazing things on there. So in the interest of time, so for everyone at home, now you should have a huge list of ideas. So whether you brainstormed yourself or you had your friends give you ideas based off your play values, that's where we're at now. And now, Aaron, we want you to pick the top 3. Circle the top 3 that you have.
That you like or are interested in, that feel actually doable.
Yes, that you can do right now, that you could apply right now.
Or tomorrow.
Okay.
And then give me a thumbs up when you have those 3.
Oh, I circled 4. Whoops. Okay.
We forgive you. It's okay.
Okay, and then I know this is going to be challenging, but out of those 4, we want you to pick one, the one that resonates most with you, that has the most energy towards it right now, that you can actually make a reality.
What are you excited about?
I like the idea because this would engage with everyone in the house. The cooking competition. So, and like everybody cooked the same thing. I'm thinking like pancakes or something with their own version of them. And then we taste test each other's and see who we like the best.
I love that. Okay, so then what's one step you can do to make this a reality? So it's just not something out in the ether that's just like, oh, this is a good idea.
One step is talking to my family about it, letting them know I have this idea, and then making sure I have the ingredients that everybody wants for their particular.
And then who is one person that can help you actually make this a reality so that we're just not talking about this in this workshop, but we're actually doing it? Who could be your play partner or your play cheerleader in this?
That would have to be my husband. Yeah.
All right. So to make this tangible and real and not just us talking, we would like for you to just text him right now and tell him, hey, I got this crazy play idea from this workshop I'm doing. Let's talk. You don't have to tell him the details yet, but just simply just write him and be like, we got to talk about this thing because it's awesome.
Open up the conversation.
Your help.
And folks at home, you can and should do this too. We want you to be able to take action and not just be like, well, that was fun, and then not ever come back to it ever again. We want you to follow that curiosity. So if you take a moment to either like write an email or text message or a other social media direct message, figuring out what it is, it's okay. You can do it, and it can be general or it could be specific. If you know, like, I need your help very specifically to help me do this thing. We want it to be accountable and real and tangible and happen.
And the reason why we do this is, as you notice, it isn't even so much about the idea, but it's the idea of being able to get into flow, to allow yourself to play. So whatever Erin does, if she does this cooking challenge, it might spark so many other ideas of other cool things that she could do, as well as also affect her whole family. And then they start to fall into flow as well. So Lauren, can you close it out for us?
Yes, I can. So what we were hoping to do here with Erin and hopefully you at home and whoever else you involve into this is just, we know that it feels kind of weird, but choose this idea, follow your curiosity. This isn't the idea, but it's an idea that can lead you to the next idea or open you up to other possibilities that you wouldn't have been in otherwise. So try to be bold. Remember to play a little bit more, and your future is where your fun is. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much. See you, everybody.
Yay.